Alright, let's talk about something that's been buzzing around the internet like a particularly persistent mosquito. It's called Pi Network. You might have heard of it. Maybe a friend, your cousin, or that one guy you vaguely know from college keeps posting about it. They're all mining Pi on their phones, for free. Sounds great, doesn't it? Free money, who wouldn't want that? It was developed by some clever folks from Stanford. They promised a cryptocurrency that wouldn't require a supercomputer or drain your electricity like a vampire with a faulty Tesla charger. Just tap a button on an app. Simple. Easy. Maybe too easy? That's often the question, isn't it? Now, alongside this phone-tapping phenomenon, there's another, even more eyebrow-raising concept. It's called the GCV. That stands for Global Consensus Value. And the value they've landed on? A very, very specific $314,159 per Pi coin. Yes, you read that right. Over $300,000 for one coin. A coin you can currently mine by, and I cannot stress this enough, tapping a button on your phone. It's a number that makes Bitcoin's all-time highs look like pocket change found down the back of the sofa. This isn't some official price set by the Pi Network's core team, mind you. Oh no, that would be too straightforward. This GCV is a grassroots movement, a figure plucked from the very air by a passionate segment of its community. They believe, with a fervor usually reserved for flat earthers or people who think pineapple belongs on pizza, it doesn't, by the way, that this is the true destined value of their beloved Pi. Think of it as a collective aspiration, a digital dream board manifesting a six-figure valuation. It's bold, it's ambitious. It's also, and we'll get into this, facing a fair bit of skepticism from people who, deal with actual money and markets for a living. And rightly so, because numbers that big tend to attract attention, and not always the good kind. So, the big question we're diving into today, on this fine May 20th, 2025, is this. Is this $314,159 GCV for Pi Network a visionary prediction of future wealth, a testament to the power of community belief? Or is it perhaps a fantastically optimistic dream cooked up by enthusiasts that's about as grounded in reality as a chocolate teapot orbiting Jupiter? We'll look at how Pi got so popular, what the financial wizards think, what happened with its Mainnet launch, and whether this GCV has any chance of being more than just a very specific, very large, and very digital pipe dream. Stick around. This should be illuminating. So, where did this frankly astonishing number, $314,159, actually come from? Did it emerge from complex algorithmic modeling? Was it whispered on the winds of the blockchain? Nope. It's a bit more thematic. You see, the Pi Network is named quite obviously after the mathematical constant pi, 3.14159 and so on, the number that plagued your high school geometry class. Someone, or rather some group within the Pi community, looked at that number and thought, hey, that looks like a good price. Thus, the GCV of $314,159 was born, essentially by taking the first 6 digits of Pi and slapping a dollar sign in front of them. It's creative, I'll give them that. This wasn't some directive from the Pi Network's core team led by co-founder Nikolas kokkalis. They've been notably quiet, almost sphinx-like, about endorsing this specific valuation. This GCV campaign was, and remains, a purely user-driven initiative. It started bubbling up around 2022, gaining traction through social media, community forums, and a sheer force of collective will. Imagine a massive online pep rally, but instead of cheering for a sports team, everyone's cheering for a 6-figure price point for a digital token they got by tapping their phones. It's a testament to the power of community organization, or perhaps collective delusion. You pick. The idea behind this GCV, according to its proponents, is that if enough people that Pi is worth $314,159, then it simply be. It's the Tinkerbell theory of economics. If you clap hard enough, it becomes real. They argue that the network's vast user base, now reportedly over 60 million participants globally as of this month, May 2025, gives it inherent value. If all those people decide to transact using PI at this agreed-upon GCV, then, hey presto, the market will have to follow. It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for them. Or if it just leads to a lot of people holding very expensive, very unspendable digital trinkets. Of course, this GCV concept is based on perceived worth, user participation, and the sheer growth of the network. The argument is that this collective agreement, if widely adopted, could indeed influence Picoin's future trading value. especially, and this is the key part, its initial listing value on exchanges. Because right now, Pi isn't really major exchanges in a way that lets you cash out for that kind of money, or any kind of money really for most users. So it's a dream, held in a digital wallet, waiting for its Cinderella moment on the global market stage, hoping the glass slipper is made of solid gold. How did Pi Network get so big so fast? We're talking over 60 million users by May 2025, up from around 45 million not too long ago. That's a lot of people. That's more than the population of several reasonably sized countries. And all of them are diligently tapping a button on their phones, hoping to strike digital gold. The primary driver? It's free. And it's easy. In a world of complex crypto mining rigs that sound like jet engines and require degrees in computer science, Pi offered a simple, accessible alternative. Just download an app, press a button once a day. What's not to like? Especially when the promise, however vague, is future riches. The referral system also played a massive role. You got more Pi, or a higher mining rate if you invited your friends, and they got more if they invited friends. Sound familiar? Yes, it has whiffs of multi-level marketing. A comparison that makes many in the crypto space very, very nervous. But for sheer growth, it's undeniably effective. It created a viral loop, spreading through social networks and word of mouth like digital wildfire. Everyone wants to be in on the ground floor of the next big thing, especially if the cost of entry is just a few seconds of your day and your phone's contact list. The promise of a cryptocurrency for everyday people was also a powerful marketing tool. Bitcoin felt too technical, too expensive for many. Ethereum, with its gas fees, could be daunting. Pi positioned itself as the friendly, approachable crypto, developed by Stanford graduates no less, which added a veneer of academic credibility. This wasn't some fly-by-night operation, the narrative went. These were smart people building something revolutionary. The app itself doesn't consume much battery or data, removing another common barrier to entry for mobile-based applications. It was designed for mass adoption from the get-go, and on that front, it certainly succeeded. The psychological aspect is also crucial. The daily tap creates a habit, a small ritual. Seeing your Pi balance slowly increase, even if it's just digital numbers on a screen with no current cash value, provides a sense of progress and ownership. It's a low-effort, potentially high-reward gamble, at least in the minds of its users. And with millions already on board, there's a strong sense of community and shared destiny. This collective belief, this shared journey, is a powerful force, even if the destination, like that $314,159 GCV, remains stubbornly over the horizon and shrouded in a very thick fog of uncertainty. So, you've got millions of enthusiastic Pi pioneers, as they call themselves, all championing this $314,159 global consensus value. It's a beautiful vision, a world where tapping your phone makes you a millionaire. But what do the people who actually understand financial markets, tokenomics, and the brutal realities of cryptocurrency valuations think about this? Well, to put it mildly, they're not exactly rushing to remortgage their houses to buy up Pi IOUs. Most experts view the GCV of $314,159 as, and I quote one directly from a Binance report, a beautiful dream. A lovely sentiment, but one without a practical foundation. Ouch. The core issue, according to these experts, is the stark contrast between this aspirational GCV and the current, well, lack of any real-world exchange-traded value. As of early May 2025, the price of Pi, where it's even notionally traded on a few smaller exchanges, often as IOUs, not the actual withdrawable coin, was hovering around a measly 60 cents. That's 60 cents, not $314,159. There's a slight discrepancy there, wouldn't you say? It's like claiming your slightly rusty 1998 Ford Fiesta is worth the same as a brand new Bugatti. You can say it, sure, but good luck finding a buyer. Experts point to several fundamental problems. True cryptocurrency value, they argue, is derived from practical utility, actual trading capability on liquid exchanges, and robust underlying technology. Pi Network, for all its millions of users, has yet to convincingly demonstrate these in a way that would justify such an astronomical valuation. The network has been in an enclosed Mainnet phase for a long time. This means Pi coins can't freely move to external exchanges or be easily traded for other cryptocurrencies or fiat money. It's like having a vault full of gold, but the vault is on the moon, and you've lost the keys to the rocket. Furthermore, the sheer supply of Pi coins is another major hurdle. We're talking about a total potential supply of up to 100 billion Pi. 100 billion. For Pi to reach $314,159 per coin, its total market capitalization would be, well, you do the math. It's a number so large it would make the entire global economy look like a lemonade stand. Economically, it's just not feasible unless Pi somehow solves world hunger, achieves world peace, and makes a decent cup of coffee all at the same time. So while the community dreams big, the experts are busy administering a very large, very necessary dose of reality. Section 5, Mainnet Mania, the long-awaited launch and its ripples. Ah, the Mainnet. For years, this was the holy grail for Pi network users, the promised land, the moment when Pi would supposedly shed its testnet skin and emerge as a fully-fledged, tradable cryptocurrency. The Pi network was, according to reports from late last year, set to launch this open mainnet around December 2024. This was the event that many hoped would finally unlock the true value of their patiently accumulated Pi coins. The transition from an enclosed mainnet, where coins are basically stuck in the Pi ecosystem, to an open mainnet is crucial. It means connectivity to other blockchains and, importantly, listings on actual cryptocurrency exchanges. Now, as of October 28, 2024, the network was confirmed to still be in its enclosed mainnet phase. This means that even as we speak in May 2025, the full open experience is still something pioneers are eagerly anticipating, or perhaps by now, somewhat impatiently waiting for. The enclosed period has allowed for some internal transactions and app development within the Pi ecosystem, but it hasn't allowed for the free-flowing trade that establishes a market price. The core team has always maintained that this phased approach is necessary for security, for KYC, know your customer, verification of millions of users, and for building out the utility of the platform before unleashing it fully. The implications of an eventual open mainnet launch are significant. One key factor is that upon this transition, the supply of Pi coin is expected to become more fixed, or at least more transparently managed, which could theoretically create scarcity. If you combine this potential scarcity with the already massive user base, those 60 million plus people, and it's a big if, a significant number of businesses and services start accepting Pi for goods and services, then you have the ingredients for demand. High demand meeting limited, or at least controlled supply is generally a recipe for upward price movement. This is the scenario that GCV proponents are banking on. However, the path to this rosy future is paved with challenges. The technical hurdles of migrating such a large user base to a truly decentralized and secure mainnet are immense. Then there's the regulatory scrutiny that will inevitably follow any attempt to list on major exchanges, especially with such a controversial community valuation floating around. The mainnet launch, whenever it fully materializes in its open form, will be a critical test. Will it be the moment Pi Network proves its doubters wrong and establishes real tangible value? Or will it be the point where the speculative bubble meets the cold, hard pin of market reality? The countdown continues. Section 6, peering into the future price predictions post-mainnet spoiler. It's complicated. Alright, so the mainnet is, or was, supposed to be the game changer. Once Pi coins can actually be traded freely on open markets, what price can we expect? Forget the community's $314,159 GCV for a moment. What do more conventional market analysts predict? Well, it's a mixed bag ranging from wildly optimistic, though still nowhere near GCV levels, to downright pessimistic. It seems nobody can quite agree on what this phone-tapped coin will actually be worth once it hits the mean streets of the crypto exchanges. It's like predicting the weather, but with more spreadsheets and even less certainty. Some predictions from late 2024 for the year 2025, post the anticipated mainnet launch, were actually quite bullish, relatively speaking. One analysis suggested Pi coin could trade between $93.41 and $220.46 in 2025, with an average price hovering around $141.64. January 2025 was even tipped to be a particularly strong month, with a potential maximum of $220.46. Now here we are in May 2025, and the reality, as we've seen with Pi IEUs trading at mere cents, is a little different. For instance, the specific prediction for May 2025 was a range of $115.92 to $147.13, averaging $138.66. Clearly, that hasn't quite panned out if we're looking at current informal markets. Other analysts offered different perspectives. A crypto investor analysis from around the same time also painted a bullish picture for 2025, with prices potentially ranging from $76.31 up to an impressive $323.39, and an average around $200. Even the Reddit community, often a hotbed of optimism, had a more modest consensus, anticipating Pi coin could reach somewhere between $70 and $100. These figures, while substantial compared to zero, are still a universe away from the $314,159 GCV. It's like aiming for Mars and hoping you at least hit the moon, but the GCV folks are aiming for a different galaxy altogether. Then you have the dramatically more cautious, some might say brutally realistic, forecasts. Coin data flow, for example, projected a very cautious initial trading range from a minuscule $0.000046 to $0.000138. Yes, that many zeros. This highlights the enormous uncertainty and the vast gulf between the hopes of the community and the skepticism of some market watchers. The truth is, until Pi Network is fully on an open mainnet and listed on reputable exchanges with genuine liquidity, all these predictions are just educated guesses at best and wild stabs in the dark at worst. The market will ultimately decide, and it's often a cruel and unforgiving judge. Section 7. Voices from the top crypto bigwigs share their 2 cents, or lack thereof. It's one thing for anonymous analysts to make predictions, but what about the big names in the digital currency space? What do the CEOs of major exchanges, the founders of influential crypto capital firms, think about Pi Network and its lofty GCV ambitions? Well, if you're a PI enthusiast, you might want to cover your ears. The feedback from several prominent figures has been less than glowing. In fact, it's been downright scathing at times. These are people who live and breathe cryptocurrency, and their opinions carry significant weight in the industry, whether the Pi community likes it or not. Take Ben Zhou, the CEO of Bybit, a major cryptocurrency exchange. His stance? He reportedly refused to list Pi, citing signs of a pyramid scheme and a distinct lack of transparency from the Pi Network team. That's a pretty damning assessment from someone who decides which coins get access to millions of traders. Accusations of being a pyramid scheme are serious in the crypto world, a space already plagued by its fair share of scams and rug pulls. For an exchange CEO to voice such concerns publicly is a massive red flag for the legitimacy and future tradability of Pi coin on mainstream platforms. Then there's Justin Bonds, the founder of Cyber Capital, a well-known crypto investment firm. He didn't mince his words either. Bonds reportedly labeled Pi Network as a scam to avoid, directly comparing its referral-heavy growth model to a multi-level marketing MLM scheme. Again, not the kind of endorsement you want if you're trying to convince the world your coin is worth over $300,000. These experts argue that true cryptocurrency value isn't just magicked into existence by a large user base, it's built on tangible factors like practical utility, the ability to actually trade the asset, liquidity, and a transparent, robust technological foundation. Pi, in their view, has yet to tick these crucial boxes. These criticisms highlight a fundamental disconnect. The Pi community sees millions of users as proof of value. These industry leaders see millions of users acquired through a system that incentivizes recruitment over utility, and they see a token that isn't yet truly functional in the broader crypto economy. They look for working products, decentralized governance, and clear use cases. Until Pi Network can demonstrate these beyond its own enclosed ecosystem, it's likely to continue facing skepticism and warnings from influential voices in the crypto space. And those warnings can seriously impact its chances of wider adoption and achieving any significant sustainable market value. Section 8. Beyond the hype. Does Pi have any real-world use, or is it just digital dust? The multi-$100,000 question quite literally is, what can you with Pi? Beyond accumulating it in an app and dreaming of GCV riches, what is its actual utility? This is a critical point because, as experts keep reminding us, real value comes from real-world application. A cryptocurrency needs a purpose, a reason to exist beyond just being mined or hoarded. Can you buy your coffee with Pi? Can you pay your rent? Can it power a new generation of decentralized applications? Right now, in May 2025, The answers are mostly not really, or at least not easily and not widely. The Pi network team has emphasized building utility within its enclosed mainnet. The idea is to foster an ecosystem of apps, PI apps, where Pi can be used for goods and services. There have been hackathons and developer programs to encourage this. The vision is a peer-to-peer marketplace powered by Pi, where users can transact directly. However, the scale and success of these internal applications are still somewhat opaque to the outside world. Are people genuinely exchanging significant value, or is it mostly small-scale experimentation? Without integration into the broader economy, its utility remains confined and its value proposition limited. There were even rumors back in October 2024, fantastical as they might sound, that Elon Musk might release a Pi phone. This mythical device would supposedly integrate crypto functionality and could, in theory, massively boost Picoin's utility, adoption, visibility, and credibility. Such a development, if it ever materialized, and let's be honest, it sounded like pure fan fiction, could potentially lend some credence to higher valuations, perhaps even nudge the GCV towards being seen as a more realistic trading value. But as with many things in the crypto space, rumors are cheap, and actual product releases are hard. No Pi phone has emerged to save the day. Ultimately, for Pi to have any sustainable value, let alone something approaching the GCV, it needs to break out of its shell. It needs demonstrable use cases that solve real problems or offer compelling advantages over existing solutions, whether fiat currencies or other cryptocurrencies. Factors like a truly fixed supply once the open mainnet is stable, combined with high demand from its substantial user base, actually Pi for commerce, could in theory validate a higher valuation. But that's a lot of ifs. For now, the utility argument remains one of Pi Network's weakest points when trying to justify anything close to that $314,159 dream. It needs to be more than just a digital collectible. Section 9, the final verdict, for now. That $314,159 GCV, a distant dream or a future reality? So, after diving into the world of Pi Network, its enthusiastic community, its astronomical GCV, and the rather cold shower of expert opinion, what's the takeaway? Is the $314,159 global consensus value for a single Pi coin a visionary glimpse into the future of digital currency, or is it, to put it bluntly, a collective fantasy fueled by hope and a lot of phone tapping? As of May 2025, the evidence overwhelmingly suggests the latter. It's a dream, and a very, very distant one at that. One that seems to ignore fundamental economic principles and current market realities. The sheer mathematics of it are staggering. With a potential supply of 100 billion coins, a $314,159 price per coin would give Pi Network a market capitalization that dwarfs the entire global GDP multiple times over. It's just not plausible. For context, Bitcoin, the established king of crypto, with proven utility, widespread adoption, and scarcity, has a market cap that, while huge, is nowhere near those kinds of fantastical numbers. The actual traded price of Pi IOUs, hovering in the cents rather than hundreds of thousands of dollars, tells a far more realistic, if disappointing for some, story. The market, even in its limited current form, simply doesn't buy into the GCV. While the community's passion and belief are remarkable, belief alone doesn't create hundreds of thousands of dollars of value per unit out of thin air, especially for an asset with limited proven utility and restricted tradability. The warnings from figures like Ben Zhou and Justin Bonds about its MLM-like structure and lack of transparency cannot be easily dismissed. These are serious concerns from seasoned industry professionals. The Pi Network needs to demonstrate tangible value, widespread real-world use cases, and transparent, robust technology before any significant, sustainable valuation can be achieved, let alone one that resembles the GCV. The prolonged and closed mainnet phase also hasn't helped build confidence in the broader market. Could Picoin eventually be worth something? Perhaps. Once it fully launches on an open mainnet and gets listed on reputable exchanges, it will find market price. Predictions like $70, $100, or even a couple of $100, as some analysts projected for 2025, though currently unmet, while still optimistic, are at least within the bounds of comprehension, unlike the GCV. But $314,159? That remains firmly in the realm of a beautiful user-generated dream. A testament to hope, perhaps, but not a reflection of economic reality. For now, it's best to keep your financial expectations firmly grounded on planet Earth.